This is Dave Snowball with the Utah Insurance Department, a captive division. We just wanted to create this new form of communication with everyone, all the shareholders or stakeholders, in relationship to what's happening in the captive industry. This particular presentation will primarily talk about the changes in 2016 for the Utah captive legislation. We also wanted to take just a moment and talk about this, the way this is being presented. We've concluded that a YouTube presentation is an advantage for both you and for us. We can pre-record it, send it out to you as through contacting you through emails or various sources, and then you can look at it at your own leisure and review the things that are there. You can stop the presentation, pick up something if somebody interrupts you as you're participating in the YouTube presentation, go back and pick it up again. So we thought it might be a good way to help you to enjoy the information that's there. We'll also be doing other YouTube presentations. We'll probably have one out very shortly on annual things to do for captive managers. So there's various things that will take place in relationship to that, and we just wanted to make sure that this was available to you. We will send out information as to when we post something new through email contact and various resources. So having said that, we are already looking to look at 2017 legislative changes. So any comments that you may want to make to us, we suggest you do that fairly soon as we're making those preparations. The first thing we wanted to talk about in the changes for 2016, the NAIC created a Model Law Act for our RGs, and we're adopting those changes. Most of them are pretty minor, the first one being the definition of a commissioner, just to allow us to recognize the difference between the Utah commissioner and other states' commissioners. The bulk of the changes that took place in our code has to do with the governance standards, and so as we kind of have reviewed those, you may want to turn to Chapter 15 and review that, especially this section in 203.4. Those are the primary changes that have taken place. Another thing that we've tried to accomplish for this session, and what we did was try and create an opportunity for branch captives. This allows the captive who is in the jurisdiction both inside and outside the Utah to be able to do a branch captive. So we had to change the definition of an alien captive, which would include foreign as well as alien or anything outside the state of Utah. So now we can accommodate a branch captive to be formed from any domicile outside the state of Utah, and I thought that was a cool graphic, so we wanted to be sure to include this. There has been some confusion, maybe it's just on my part, most of you probably understand it very well, the difference between an industrial captive and a risk retention group, and we just wanted to clarify this information so that everyone will understand that a risk retention group is an industrial captive, but not all industrial captives are RGs. So just wanted to make that clarification in the code. We also have made some changes over the last couple of years in regards to sponsored cell companies. We wanted to put in some information concerning types of entities who may own a protected cell, and the change to clarify the protected cell can be owned. So it can be a corporation, an LLC, those kinds of things. So that's what this is trying to do. We also changed in 37103, just another thing to coordinate for the NAIC Model Law Act for RRGs, Risk Retention Groups, the connection between Chapter 15 and Chapter 37, and so that's what that's representing. One of the new things that we've done also in this legislation, we've had some concern from several of the captive managers and captive owners that they were not able to use the minimum capital and make any money off of it in our current investment environment. There's not enough money on cash that you earn that makes it worth doing that. So we've made some accommodation for this. We have some caution and concern. So now individuals can, or companies can, create cash equivalent, letter of credit, and now marketable securities. They're restricted in what they can do, and you may want to review this section just so you can see exactly what those restrictions are. But it'll be primarily those that are over the major stock exchanges, with some limitations even there. So you may want to review that, give some caution as they have these marketable securities, and if there's losses that take place, those losses will have to be made up and created so that there's additional, so more funds may have to be implemented into the captive if there's losses in the marketable securities. I generally will recommend that not be used, but certainly it's available now in the code if it's needed. One of the concerns as a regulator is to make sure that we have good control for pooling purposes, as many people are affected by pools by having multiple companies. And so one of the things that we're trying to accomplish through this is having a rules opportunity to be written so that we can put more guidelines in for pooling. And in the coming year, we're hoping to actually create a pooling captive as a separate captive type. So that's something we're working on for the future, but at this point this allows us to do some things to allow us to do some things for credit for reinsurance and create better rules to govern those kinds of things. This change allows us to do several different things for captives that traditionally have been done for the traditional side in reference to credit for reinsurance. Historically, we have had two officers of the company sign the annual statement as it has been submitted to the department. We've had some concern from captive managers indicating that they have a hard time getting those two officers to sign in a timely manner, and so we've made some adjustments as we have created the new annual statement. This allows one officer to sign, and so it should create an easier situation for the captive managers. But at the same time, we're also requiring the captive manager to sign the annual statement. This is different, but we figure the captive manager generally is highly involved in creating and or reviewing those financial statements, and so it's important that they be involved as well, and this should make it a lot easier for signing and getting things done in that regard. So it will be we're hoping that it will be an easier situation for everyone, and it should be a time when we can kind of work together on making this work properly. Thank you very much for taking the time to see what we have done for the Utah captive world. we always welcome feedback to what we're doing. Our goal is to always provide a good opportunity for regulators to assist and work with the captive arena and the industry and be able to help in any way possible. Our hope is always to be a good regulator and still work with and accomplish the things that are necessary for a good captive business. So we appreciate that. We would encourage any feedback that you might have with this particular presentation or any that we will do in the future, and even this format, the YouTube format, we hope is a good one for you and will work positively in the future. Thank you again very much.